You arrive at the port, everything planned, bags packed, the cruise of your dreams, and then, in a few seconds, someone tells you a phrase nobody wants to hear: you cannot board. It doesn't matter that the ship is right in front of you, that you paid a lot of money, or that you've been dreaming of this trip for months. Every year, and even more so lately, thousands of passengers are left behind, with no right to a refund, convinced they did everything right. The problem is that the rules have changed. They've become stricter, and in many cases, confusing. Today we're going to see why more and more cruise passengers are being stopped from boarding and how to avoid mistakes that, no matter how small they seem, can ruin your trip before it even begins. Arriving late for the final boarding time. This is the easiest mistake to avoid, but it's still one of the most common. Many people think that as long as they get there before the ship leaves, everything will be fine. And that's where the danger is. The big trick. The cruise ship's departure time is not the same as the final boarding time. Cruise lines set a mandatory final boarding time, usually 1 to 2 hours before departure. This is because of immigration, customs, and port security rules. It's serious business. Once the gangway is closed, there are no exceptions. It doesn't matter if your flight was delayed, traffic was crazy, or the taxi driver took a wrong turn. At that point, my friend, it's tough luck. The ship won't wait, and the company won't take responsibility. Some passengers arrive at the port just 30 minutes late and have to watch the ship leave without them, losing their entire trip. What a ripoff. Knowing and respecting the final boarding time is super important, and yet this continues to be one of the most expensive mistakes people make. You gotta pay attention. Your passport is valid, but it's denied. This is where most people get surprised. You have a passport, it's valid, and yet they deny you boarding. Why? Because valid doesn't always mean fit for travel. Most cruises require your passport to be valid for at least 6 months after your trip ends. Some countries also need enough blank pages for stamps or visas. In Europe, there's also a little-known rule. Your passport can't be more than 10 years old from when it was issued, even if the expiration date is later. This has left many passengers in a tough spot because they trusted automatic extensions or renewals too much. The result is devastating. You show up with a passport you thought was fine, only to find out at the counter that it doesn't meet the travel rules. And here too, it's the same. No refunds, no exceptions. Missing visas or electronic authorizations. This is one of the most expensive mistakes, because many people don't even know they're making it. Visa requirements don't just depend on your starting country, but on all the countries your cruise passes through, even if it's just for a few hours. Cruises ending in Canada, European routes, or trips that combine several countries might need special visas or electronic travel authorizations. The problem is that many passengers think that since they already have approval for their boarding country, everything is covered. But that's not quite right. There have been cases where entire families were stopped from boarding because they didn't have the authorization for a country visited at the end of the trip. And the most frustrating part is that these rejections often happen without warning, right at the port, when there's no more time to fix the situation. Missing or incorrect documents. If there's one main reason why people can't get on their cruise, this is it. Travelers who are sure they have the right paperwork find out at the port that they don't. Birth certificates that aren't valid, fake documents, IDs that don't match, or rules that have changed since their last cruise. The thing is, cruise lines are very clear about one point. All the responsibility is on the passenger. Even if someone called customer service and got the wrong information, it doesn't change anything. If you don't meet the exact requirements for your trip, you won't get on board. Many travelers assume that because a certain document worked for a past cruise, it will be fine for the next one, without thinking about the countries they'll visit, how long the trip is, or any new laws. Not having the right documents doesn't just leave you at the dock, but often means you lose all the money you paid. The name on your reservation doesn't exactly match. This reason, as small as it might seem, is one of the strictest. The name on your reservation needs to be exactly the same as the name on your official ID. Exactly means letter for letter, No shortcuts, no nicknames, and no guessing. There's no way around it, as we say. Problems usually pop up after a wedding, divorce, or legal name change, when the traveler doesn't have the official papers that explain this difference. This also happens a lot with trips that include kids who don't have the same last name, or with minors who aren't their own children. In these cases, cruise lines need original documents or certified copies that prove the relationship, or the legal guardian's permission. Without these papers, you can't board. And there's no use crying over spilled milk, as they say. It doesn't matter if the staff clearly sees you're from the same family, or if the mistake seems tiny. For the cruise company, any name difference is a legal and immigration risk they're not willing to take. There's no gray area. These are clear rules, like our traffic laws. Not having mandatory travel insurance. Even though for many places insurance is just a suggestion, for others it's a must-have. And when it's required, not just any policy will do. Some cruise lines need very specific minimum coverage, like high medical assistance, getting you back home, and coverage for the whole trip. Plus, the insurance needs to cover the entire length of your journey and all the countries you visit. Some passengers show up at the port with basic or incomplete insurance and find out right then and there that it doesn't meet the rules. In these cases, the cruise company can say no to you getting on board, no questions asked. The most dangerous thing is thinking no one will check this. Because, listen, more and more companies are actively checking for this at check-in. Bringing prohibited items or legal substances. This is a really tricky area, almost like trying to get into a big stadium with a firecracker. Every cruise company has its own list of things you can't bring, and that list isn't always the same as what's legal in your home country. Alcohol, drones, clothes irons, knives, decorative weapons, or even certain medicines and things like CBD can cause big problems. The most common mistake is thinking, if it's legal where I live, or if I bought it in a normal store, it's fine. But on a cruise, my friend, it's a whole different story. It's like trying to cross a busy highway during rush hour. If a forbidden item is found at security, the result can be anything from them taking your item away to completely stopping you from getting on the ship, especially if it's recreational drugs or things that are considered dangerous. In some cases, the passenger not only misses their trip, but they're also not allowed to go on future cruises. Arriving drunk or with a hostile attitude. Boarding isn't just about checking your papers, it's also about how you act. If the crew thinks a passenger is clearly drunk, acting weird, or being aggressive, they can stop them from getting on the ship right away. And this is happening more and more often. Some cruise lines have gotten tougher with their rules and they make it very clear. They can refuse to let anyone on board who is very drunk. The problem is, many travelers start their vacation too early and are already drinking alcohol even before they get on the ship. What they see as part of the fun, the cruise company sees as a risk they're not willing to take. Refusing security checks or screenings. This is rare, but when it happens, the result is immediate. Boarding assumes acceptance of inspections, both personal and of luggage. Some passengers, due to distrust, irritation, or misunderstanding, refuse to have their bags searched or to undergo certain checks. From the company's point of view, this is unacceptable. They are not obligated to allow someone to board who does not fully cooperate with security procedures. Even a heated discussion can be interpreted as a refusal. In these cases, the passenger is automatically prevented from traveling. There's no refund, no second chance, because the safety of the ship and everyone on board is more important than any personal argument. Illness, fever, or suspicious symptoms. Even though it's not talked about as much today, health is still a serious reason to be denied boarding. If a passenger has a fever, clear symptoms, or says they recently tested positive for a contagious illness, the cruise line might ask for a medical checkup or just say no to boarding right away. The rules are different for each cruise line, but the final decision is usually made at the port, and you can't argue with it. There's no way around it, as we say in Brazil. Many passengers are careless and think no one will check, but the checks still happen and are used when there's a clear suspicion. In these cases, keeping other passengers and the crew safe is the most important thing, even if it means someone gets left behind. After all, as the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. Pregnancy beyond allowed limits. The rules about pregnancy are super strict, and there's no wiggle room. Most cruise lines won't let pregnant women board if they're past their 24th week of pregnancy, or if they'll reach that point during the trip. Even if you're earlier than that, they might ask for very specific doctor's notes. These notes need exact dates and clear explanations that you're fit to travel. A lot of passengers are too hopeful. They think if they feel fine, there won't be any trouble. But the boarding crew is trained to spot visible pregnancies and will check all your papers. If you're past the allowed limit, they'll turn you away right then and there, no exceptions. It doesn't matter how far along you are in boarding or how much the trip cost. Minimum age requirement not met for babies. This is one of the most overlooked reasons, and because of that, it causes the biggest surprises, and often negative ones, like a bolt out of the blue. Many people believe that if a baby is healthy and has a passport, they can travel without any problems. Not true. But on cruises, it's not that simple. There are clear rules, just like our traffic laws. Most cruise lines don't allow babies under 6 months old on board, and that limit goes up to 12 months for long cruises, transatlantic crossings, or those with several consecutive days at sea, meaning when you spend more time on the open ocean. The reason is medical and logistical. In case of an emergency, the ship might be too far from a port that can offer proper care. Nobody wants to take that risk, right? The problem is that this rule is usually in the fine print, and many parents only find out on embarkation day. Then it hits them, and the disappointment is huge. When this happens, there's no negotiation. Crying or begging won't help. It doesn't matter if the baby is just a few days shy of the minimum age or if the trip would be short. If the exact requirement isn't met, the whole family might be left behind. Tough luck for them, right? Nowadays, getting on a cruise isn't a given right or guaranteed anymore. It's not like a Sunday barbecue where you just show up and walk in. Just showing up at the port and seeing the ship in front of you isn't enough. It's like going to Carnival in Salvador. You have to know the rules and have the right pass. A small mistake, a wrong guess, or a forgotten detail can cost you the whole trip and thousands of dollars. Then, my friend, you're out of luck. The rules have gotten stricter, inspections are more serious, and tolerance for mistakes has pretty much disappeared. It's not a bed of roses anymore. The good news is, almost all these problems can be avoided with information and preparation. As the saying goes, prevention is better than cure. Knowing the rules, checking everything beforehand, and not taking anything for granted, that's the difference between boarding or watching the ship leave without you. It's real life, my dear. Because with cruises, the trip doesn't start with departure, but much earlier. And that's exactly where most people make mistakes. It's like building a house. The foundation has to be strong.